It's the Josh Show, Season 3. A counter satire podcast designed to save the world or possibly end it. Brought to you in part by Blue Steel Productions. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Check out my page for more info. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Join me every Friday at 3 p.m. here, live on the Josh Show. You can find us everywhere. Join my evil empire today. Oops. I don't know who's trying to call me right now, but I gotta decline that call.
Nice ringer.
Someone was giving me a phone call. I'll have to call them back later. Hi, and welcome to the show, Steve Spurgeon. This is the J.A.W. Show, episode 3/8. Season 3, Loud and Proud with Steve Spurgeon. I'd like to welcome him on to the show. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for the invitation, Josh. Appreciate it, brother.
Well, I've been looking forward to this one for a while now. So,
I used to live up there in Minnesota, man.
So where do you live now?
I'm in Omaha, Nebraska.
Omaha, Nebraska. So he's coming live from Omaha, Nebraska, guys. So just so you know where he's out of. Steve Spurgeon is a nonprofit business who goes around and he sings songs to first responders and first responder people who are associated with the 9/11 attacks.
In fact, I'm getting a phone call right now from the police chief in one of the cities around me right now. But hey, that's all right. He's got more important things to do to talk to me right now. I'm sure I'll get back with him.
Yeah. So, like I was trying to say here, as he goes around singing a song called Wake Up in the USA to first responders all across the USA. He's done that in a couple of different states and places. So I guess I want to let you kind of explain what it is you do, Steve. Tell us all about it.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm a singer-songwriter. I was in a band in the Omaha area called the Confidentials for 31 years. It's an 11-piece band. We played everything from Motown to Frank Sinatra. We did a lot of weddings and city events. I mean, we've played with Starship and Kool and the Gang and Grand Funk Railroad. But of course, this covers songs, a lot of fun dance music. But as a singer-songwriter, man, things kind of hit you as you're experiencing life. And the day after 9/11, I wrote a song called Wake Up in the USA. And of course, it wasn't a song that the band wanted to play, but I just felt like, man, this song is a song that could really help people all over the nation learn to appreciate our country, learn to appreciate each other, and just make things better, because we've been becoming more and more divided as a nation since 2020. Well, back in 2018, I go visit a friend of mine, and he's familiar with my music, and he says to me, Steve, I went to a Trump rally in Council Bluffs, Iowa yesterday. You should have went. I'm like, what are you talking about? He said there was 20,000 people in the parking lot who couldn't get in, and all of the national media was there. Had you just went into the parking lot with your American flag guitar and started playing your music, people would have saw you. They would have heard your music, and who knows, man, you could have began to wake up America, wake up the USA. So, because the whole deal is, I mean, when you're divided, you got to figure out what it is that we have in common before we can even begin to come together. And so I looked online and I saw another one of those rallies up in Wisconsin somewhere. And I figured, what the heck, I had $200 in my pocket. My wife said she was good with it. So I took off. I figured I'd be back the next day. $200 is a lot of gas money, and gas prices weren't that bad. But I tell you what, it was so far away. I drove for 8 hours and spent 170 of my dollars to get there. So I'm up there with $30 in my pocket, but I step out of my car and I swear there's like 20, 30,000 people in a big line waiting to do what they're going to do. So I get my guitar out of the car. I get my cart, my amp. I brought a generator, I wanted to be heard. So I start pushing up towards where the back of the crowd was. And so I get to the back of the line and I'm standing there. And I felt God say, did you come here to see Donald Trump? I was like, no, sir. He goes, well, then get your butt on up to the front of that line. So I took off the back of that line and start walking towards the front, man. I get about halfway up. People are yelling at me. It's all positive. Hey, God bless America. World tour. They see my guitar. And all of a sudden, I got 5 state patrol guys. They're blocking the way, and they're walking right towards me. And right when I get about 5 feet from them, they part like the Red Sea and say, hey, good luck today, man. I guess I looked like I was official. So I get to the front of this crowd. I set my stuff up and I say, hey, I'm Steve Spurgeon from Omaha, Nebraska. I've got some new songs for America. And I went into my songs, man. The crowd goes nuts. And this vendor, he ends up coming up, taking pictures and video. And he says, how come you're not getting any money, man? I'm like, I've never done nothing like this, man. I'm playing my songs, brother. He grabs my guitar from behind me, my guitar case, opens it up and yells to the crowd, you guys give this guy some money. So people start throwing money in my case, left and right. So at the end of the night, I'm counting my money. I got $170. I'm like, praise the Lord, I can go home. And it was like, I thought just trying to find what Americans have in common. I just showed you, if you will go, I will provide. And at that moment, that vendor comes up and says, hey, man, there's crowds everywhere we go. You should just follow us around for a while. I called my wife, had to get my permission from the boss, of course. And she was good with it. So I slept in my truck, man. I'm serious, for 30 days. During those 30 days, I'd never asked anyone for a nickel, but people came up to me every day, hugging me, crying, praying for me, thanking me, and slipping money in my hand when they shook my hand. But everywhere I went, every time first responders and military people showed up, it was like you were in an NFL stadium, game-winning touchdown. And the light goes off. We all have a military person, a first responder. That's our family member, a neighbor, or a friend. My dad was in the Air Force. Right here, this is his Chief Master Sergeant insignia. He was a Chief Master Sergeant, 31 years in the Air Force, retired Korean and veteran and a Vietnam War vet. So we all have that in common. And they don't care what politics you have. They don't care what sex you are. They don't care what race you are. They put their lives in each other's hands every day while they go out and sacrifice their lives. They sacrifice their American dreams so that we could have safe communities and to protect the freedoms we have in America. So at that point, I'm like, all right, I wrote the song for 9/11. I've got some direction. Boom, I head to New York City. So I go to New York City. I got my guitar on my shoulder. I'm walking around Times Square like the naked cowboy, man, except I ain't naked. And I'm walking in and out of police stations and fire stations. I'm asking to see your community affairs director, your public information officer, your chief of police, your battalion chief. And every place I went in, somebody would talk to me. They'd sit down and we'd have a nice conversation. They thank me for my sentiment that they are America's real superheroes. I said, you guys, man, what do superheroes do? Superheroes put their lives on the line. They show up when we need them, and they come when unexpected things happen. They show up because everybody don't believe in God. But I tell you what, everybody believes in 911. And when they dial 911, they expect someone to show up. And guess what? They do. So I got a chance to talk to the firehouse that lost the most men during 9/11. I got a chance to address First Precinct in Manhattan. So this was like 2018, man. And I come back to Omaha, and it's about first week of December. I'm so excited. I know how to unite America. We can save America. You trying to save the world. I know how to save America, brother. So I connected with the first responders in my area. And the week before Christmas, I went to every police station, every roll call, every firehouse, told my story, sang a Christmas song. And great campaign. Things went great, well received. So I got Christmas Day at the house. A couple of days goes by. I'm trying to think of what I'm going to do next with it. But I get a message on Facebook 2 days after Christmas. There was an officer who had just retired. And they saw the coverage of what I was doing on one of the news stations. And they said it made their life, made them feel like their life was worth living because they were going to commit suicide that Christmas. And I'm like, no way, man. So I'm doing my research. And it was then that I discovered about the mental health crisis in the community. First responders attempt to commit suicide at 10 times the rate of the general public. First responders' suicide rates are 20% higher than the general public. This is back in 2018, man. Not now when you have all the stuff that's gone and the climate has changed to defund the police. So I feel like it's more important now that I continue to do that than it was back then. So since 2020, I have visited about, I started in 2019 because my band was still going on, so I kind of wound that down, quit my band. And since 2019, I have visited more than 100 groups of first responders in 20 states, honoring them as the real superheroes in America and singing that song, Wake Up in the USA at roll calls. Everywhere I go, they give me a patch. That's what this jacket's from. They give me a patch. I got enough for about 5 jackets right now, man. And my nonprofit just got established back the end of October. So now I'm out raising funds so I can really hit the nation in 2023. And next week, starting on Tuesday, I've got my 12 Days to Christmas campaign coming up here in the Omaha area. I'm visiting every roll call, every agency from the city police to the suburban police, the Douglas County, Sarpy County Sheriff's Departments, the firehouses, and we're right on the border with Council Bluffs. So I'm going to be in Council Bluffs, Iowa as well for the 12 days from the 13th of December to Christmas Day. And even on Christmas Day, because they work Christmas Day, they don't get a holiday. I'm going to be visiting all the first responders in our area and lifting their spirits and thanking them for what they do and honoring them as the real superheroes in America, because that's what they really are, man.
Okay, I got a question for you. Just kind of want to know a little bit more about you and how you started in the music industry. Was it a passion of yours to begin with? Was it music always kind of in your life to begin with before you decided to do this?
No. I could sing, I'm not the greatest guitar player, but I play well enough to play, My dad was in the military, traveled around quite a bit. And my dad was a great singer. My dad had that crooning, the impressions, what's the other band I'm looking for? The Platters. Those were his bands from back in the day. But I was a baseball player, dude. I was an athlete, played baseball, football, basketball, had a 3-sport scholarship to one of the small colleges around here, ended up playing baseball for the University of Nebraska back in the mid-'80s, and even had a chance to play a little pro ball. I was a Minnesota Twin during the strike in 95 and played some baseball. But what happened was how I got going with the music. I showed up in Lincoln my junior year after doing some junior college ball, and I'm there to play baseball and become a major leaguer. And the first week I was there was a guy who lived on my floor, and he comes up to my room and says, "Hey man, I want to try out for this band, but I don't have a car and I'm a drummer. I need something to take my drums." And I had a car. I said, "Okay, man, get in the car, man. I'll take you over to try out for this band." So we go over there and he sets his drums up, and I'm sitting there just kind of waiting to go. I don't really have time for this, but I'm always willing to help a brother out. And about a half hour in, their singer hadn't showed up yet. And I'm like, "Hey, I've sang in high school. I sang in the choir, did the swing choir stuff. So I enjoyed music all the time." But so they said, "Well, can you do My Girl?" I said, "Sure, everybody knows My Girl." I've got sunshine on a cloudy day. Boom, boom, boom. So I did the song, man. And at the end of it, I left. I'm done. Forgot about it. 2 weeks later, I get a phone call. "Hey, man, we lost our singer in our band. We want to know if you want to be the lead singer of our band." So I'm thinking Division I baseball player. And there was a pretty popular band on campus, singing a band. And so the band, the Confidentials, that's when I got in this band. And that band ended up going for 31 years, man.
Yeah.
So it's just, I'm always open to having a good time and doing things to, try to make people's lives better and just have a good time, man.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're here to do today a little bit here is kind of, get people to get to know you a little bit. I know that people are seeing your personality right there, out there and out in the open, but is there anything you would like people to know about you, your personal journey, anything you would like to share?
Well, I'll tell you what, man, probably one of the most important things besides my faith is my wife. I've been with my wife for 38 years, married for 30 years. And a lot of guys in my situation, my mother moved in my house about 2 years ago. And I sub in the school district, I paint a house here and there. I've been really just kind of hustling, trying to make ends meet. But my wife has been an administrator with the public school system here for almost 30 years. And really, she has been the rock that has kept everything together. And I won't say most ladies, because I'm not going to speak for women, but you would think that she at some point would say, hey, get a real job, get out there and do. But I tell you, my wife has supported me chasing my baseball dreams, chasing my sports dreams. And she has never given up on me. And we're about to turn the corner right now since my nonprofit has been established. I've got 4 awesome kids. I've got a daughter who's chasing her dreams as an actress, and she's 21 years old. She's a twin with my son, who is a left-handed pitcher following after his dad, but he's down at Jackson State University playing baseball, man, and I believe he's a real prospect. I also have a 27-year-old daughter who is a loan officer at the bank, making more money right now than I've ever made in my life. And then I've got another daughter who has her master's degree in special education, about to get after her doctorate here in the next year. But my kids are doing fantastic. You know who I have to thank for that? Their mom. Thank God. Some stability. But my kids I have a great family, man. I can't even say anything other than I'm blessed because I don't deserve it, man.
Well, you know what? I know the real reason you're here today, Steve. You're here to stop my evil plan. So I've got a question for you, and you kind of already answered it a little bit today. But if you could save the world in one thought, how would you do that? If you could say, snap your fingers in one thought, the world would be a different place. How would you do that?
I tell people to love God and love each other, and everything else will work itself out.
You touched on a couple of things earlier, and I think that's very important. Your belief in your personal deity, your God, whatever that may be, and family are ultimately one of the best things you can put your energies into in life. And you touched on it. Your wife is supportive. Your kids are chasing their own dreams. You're supportive of their dreams. Sometimes supporting the people who are in your family, even when it seems like they're doing the most insane thing in the world, supporting them and putting your energy into them shows them that not only can they accomplish the dreams they want to do, but the dreams that their children and their wives want to do as well. So
absolutely. Everybody's different, man. I mean, if you look at my family members, my kids, my wife, all of us are as different as night and day. But I know that every single person was created on purpose for a purpose that only they can fulfill. And my job is not to try to stand in anybody's way, but my job is to listen and encourage and to help provide opportunities if it's in my power to do so. And that's what I try to do with everybody, man.
Yeah, because you're already doing something that actively on my show, and as you can see it down below, if you guys are interested in finding out more information, here's this website, superusaheroes.org and stevespurgeon.com are places where you can go and contact him if you'd like him to come out to your place and play Wake Up in the USA. And I think we should hear a little bit of that today at the end of this interview as well, just to give people a little bit of a taste of that. They can check it out on that stuff. But what you have said is the most important thing, because you're already doing something to help actively save the world. You're going out there trying to bring first responders some hope when they are the ones sometimes needing the support that they don't always get. Because I've always been a big supporter of first responders, doctors, nurses, more nurses than the people who are under the people who help the people, who create their things. Because without the EMTs, without the police officers, without the firefighters, without the people who all came together on 9/11, what did we learn during 9/11? And we've forgotten this lesson. We all came together because something horrible happened. Why does it take something horrible to happen for us to come together? It shouldn't. Mental health crisis. Oh, go ahead.
Without them, it's chaos.
Right. And, we wouldn't have recovered after that without the support of those other people that took their time. They put their lives on the line. There are people who are suffering debilitating diseases because of that attack. There are people who are still dealing with their mental PTSD because of that attack. There are people out there who are still dealing with it. And what people don't understand is first responders on a daily basis are dealt with various different emergency situations that are going to be maybe putting their life on the line, dealing with somebody who's hurting so bad that they don't know what they're doing. People who are going out there every single day, putting their lives and their shields on and their uniforms on every single day, right? And that's the most important part of their job. They're not out there to try to judge anyone. They're out to do one thing and one thing only, and that is help you.
Absolutely. The thing you have to really think about right now, especially at this time of year, Christmas season is a joyous season for a lot of people. But for a lot of people, it is the most depressing season of the year. And so when you think about that, that first responders are in a situation right now. They work on Christmas Day. They don't really have holidays. They're working and they suffer in silence. When you have a job, when you're supposed to be the tough guy, you don't go into your job and say, "Hey, boss, I'm feeling bad today. I'm depressed." You keep your mouth shut because you don't want to be seen as weak. And that's men and women that do this job. I think about the ladies who do this job. When you have the stereotypes against women in what a lot of people say is a man's job type thing, and what they're going through in their mind is they're feeling what they're feeling and keeping it all inside. And you think about some of the things they see, you think about some of the experiences they have, and they're having the same family ordeals and struggles that we have with our families at home. Yet you add that on top of it, they can't come home from work and say, "Oh, honey, I saw this today." Last summer we had a situation here in Omaha where there was a brush fire. I mean, in a cornfield. So it burned and burned and burned. And I was talking to one of my friends who's a fireman. He says, we thought we'd take some, these newer firefighters out to put it out, it'd be good training and practice for them. And when they got out there, man, the fire was caused by a car that had rolled, and there was 4 16-year-old girls burnt to death in the car. And that's the first thing these guys saw on one of their major outings as a first responder, man. And then they come home and have to hold that inside. And we need to be wrapping our arms around. I tell people all the time, when you walk up to a first responder, a military person, and you just give them a heartfelt thank you so much for what you do. I understand that you are a prime reason why our communities are safe, why we have our freedoms in America. They can feel that heartfelt thank you. And I'm telling you that quite literally at times is saving their lives, man. So we have to really be more conscious and intentional about how we express ourselves to them when we see them as the public out on the street.
Right. And, I want to touch base on the mental health crisis when it comes to first responders as well, because I'm a big believer that we don't give those people enough support when it comes to mental health. We need to have more mental health resources for our first responders.
Yeah, absolutely do.
Because they're the ones who need that counseling. They're the ones who need to go somewhere safe to talk about it. Sometimes they don't feel like they can share it with their family because they don't want to bring it home with them. They want to be able to leave it there. They want to be able to leave it behind. They want to be able to come home, be with their kids, be appreciative of what they have, go home every day. But dealing with that on a daily basis and seeing it day in, day out, it's going to be taxing on anybody's mind. You see that much energy or you see that much anything. You could have saved a life, but as soon as you drop that person off where they are supposed to be, whether you're arresting them for the crime that they've committed or you're trying to save the person who's being attacked or whatever, no matter which situation you see, that's still something that they have to go home and go, did I do the right thing today? Did I follow procedures?
Always second guessing themselves. Always second guessing themselves, man.
Yeah. So, and when you're talking about the mental health crisis, when it comes to those people, they don't always have those resources already established. I think if we did anything in this country that would be beneficial for it, it would be to make sure that our first responders and the people who go out there on a daily basis have that already established in there. They have that. You
To
know,
that point right there, one of the things that has really bothered me, and I probably should have mentioned this. In fact, it's on my website. They can find the USA Superheroes website. But one of the things that really concerned me about just my presentation, I see it almost like a football coach or an athletic coach giving that pep rally, that pep speech, before the game, and getting them hyped up and getting them feeling good, and they do. But it's like, it's short last. It's like, well, what's after that? What do I do after that? But I tell you, I have connected with a group called First Responder Coaching. That's a 1ST responder coaching out east. And they provide professional coaching services for police, fire, military, first responders who are going through those mental health issues. So now I feel like not only am I an encourager, I am a bridge that can bridge them off to somebody else who can provide deeper services for them. So if there's any first responders out there today that are going through anything that they feel like they can't share with their COs, they can't share with the people in their community, or you don't want anybody in your community to really know about, First Responder Coaching, that's a place that you can give a call, you can send them an email, and they'll reach out to you, and you will get some professional help. You'll get some serious certified help that will help you to get over and to deal with the stuff you're dealing with right now.
Yeah. So, kind of wanted to wrap this up a little bit by kind of reiterating that what you're going out there to do is you're going out there to give them that boost, that reminder that they're not forgotten, that they're here, that they're going to be remembered, that they're going to be able to be not acknowledged. And that's how you're doing it. Right now, you're doing it with your usasuperheroes.org site and also at stevespurgeon.com. So if you are a first responder who would like this man to come and visit you and get that inspiration and get that thank you, don't forget to contact him. And if you want to contact him, please contact him at the sites you see below. So that's important for people to know. What I'd like now is a little bit of a song from you, kind of give my viewers a little bit of a taste of what you have to offer there, so they can go check out your official release of Wake Up in America, your whole album.
Right, man.
Oh, so he's going to give us a little bit of a taste, guys. So here we go. Here's Steve Spurgeon singing whatever he wants to sing. So give him a second, sit up, and whenever you're ready to go.
There's a cry of freedom sweeping around the world today. And here we have it all, life and liberty. Still we give the dream away. No more can we afford to stand around, set inside our ways. Wake up in the USA. Wake up in the USA. Help others when you can. Respect your fellow man. Can't you see the times are changing? When priorities are wrong, we've got to stand up strong and rearrange them. It's time that we wake up and see our freedom was never free. So wake up in the USA. You know what you need to do. Don't give up, you gotta push on through. Quit closing your eyes, pretending that you don't see. And if you think you'll just spectate, it's too late. We all live here together, from sea to shining sea. There's a cry of freedom sweeping around the USA. No one can take the sunlight or the breeze. No one can turn our blue skies gray. Now everybody join together with me as I pray. Wake up in the USA. Wake up. In the USA. Wake up, you live in the USA.
Well, thank you very much for that, Steve. I really, really appreciate that, you sharing that with everybody here today. I want to let everybody know that that is available on Spotify, on his websites. If you'd like to donate to him in any way, shape, or form, don't forget to get on there. And as you see the ticker down below, those are the places that you can get a hold of Steve Spurgeon if you want to come visit him. I would really like to thank you for being on the show today, Steve. And I just want to say thank you to all of the first responders, military people, and everyone out there. Thank you very much for the job you do every single day, because you are the heart of America. So, is there anything coming up that you would like to promote, those 12 days of Christmas? When does that begin for you?
That begins Tuesday, and that'll be right here in the Omaha area. I'm going to hit them all. I'll be posting on my website and on my Facebook, kind of sharing my experience, because they need to be reminded, and we need to let everybody be reminded that we need to start recognizing them officially as America's real superheroes.
All right. I would like to thank you for being here once again, and I would like to thank my viewers. This has been Steve Spurgeon on the J.A.W. Show. We'll see you next week, where we're going to have a cannabis distributor come onto the show and show what he's doing to help the medical cannabis movement in America. So tune in for that next week. Thank you again, Steve, for being on the show.
Yes, sir. Take care now. Have a good week.
You too. Bye-bye.